So it's like we'll go a little bit and then I'm gonna see what you do on your own. Do you keep going to therapy or do you stop? Cause I'm not saying nothing about it no more.
Ooh, J Love just put a comment out there. You just put a comment down there and said, we attract what we are. If you see toxic, I am that.
You know what, Netra? That's what I was just getting ready to say. So
Girl, that's deep.
I wanted to approach your question by looking at my own toxicity as opposed to pointing out somebody else's, right? So I think that we all have toxic tendencies. But if I can point out my own toxic ways, right? And other people have come to me and said to me, well, Michelle, you know, this the thing that you say, or this way that you act, or the tone of your voice, or the way that you move your head just comes off as being a little toxic when you speak to me. I have to be able to address that in my own self. So any of us can sit up and point out everybody else's toxic ways. Oh, I ain't gonna put up with this. I ain't gonna put up with that. But wait a minute, stop for a minute and address what your own toxic addition to this equation is.
This is good, y'all. Tap the screen. It's a good conversation. We back on our real grown up stuff. Speaking of toxicity, I found myself in messy talk. Toxic. And I'm not a toxic individual, but for the last couple of weeks, it's like the toxic had just become Netra. I had to identify myself again and spin myself back around the block, and like waking up every day being toxic is not for me. So that's when I have to start working on self and picking myself up and getting from that toxic place on this internet. But you can find yourself getting around toxic individuals and you start becoming that.
Mm-hmm.
It take a toll on you. So that's why my topic is today, toxic egos. You know what I'm saying? I could not let my ego overtake what was happening in my life. So I had to bow down to ego and say, bitch, you over here toxic. And my ego had to bow down to what I was really experiencing. So I had to do a self-check and say, what is making you feel toxic? And I had to get back down and humble myself. You hear me? So I'm on it to being able to identify the toxic that's in you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't identify it, girl. So I had to learn, and I'm when I say learn, because I found myself in a place in life that I'm familiar with. Don't never think that you ain't familiar with a place that don't make you uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable with it, damn near, you know what I'm saying? That's my past. So I had to get out that past feeling of being uncomfortable with that toxic trait. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. What is a toxic ego? And do you listen to your toxic egos?
I believe the one thing that I have noticed in people in general and myself is I was always a person that was told it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But I had to also stop and realize that how you perceive what I am saying is also a toxic trait, because if you automatically go to a negative mindset and think because of the things that I'm saying to you triggers you, that may be something within you that you already don't like. And then when someone else is saying it to you, you can't turn that mirror around, look at yourself. So you decide to tell this person that, oh, you need to say it this way to me, because in this way I will accept it. And it was mind boggling when I stopped saying things in a way that pleased others. I was like, listen, no matter what I say to you, the way you take it and perceive it are two different things. I can say it in a cool, calm, collected voice, but if you are still offended by it, then you have to look within yourself. Another toxic thing I've realized is that nowadays I have so many people that come to me and they get upset that I am single or something. And I'm like, look, I stopped dating because of this. I said, when you are so busy focused on being in love with the idea of being in love, you're not doing that inner work within yourself. So whatever you attract, you are going to keep attracting the same person with a different face. but with even worse characteristics than the person before you. So when you are working on self, God will decide to put the right people into your life. But if you keep falling back into the same type of people, because every person that comes into your life is a test. Like I said, it's going to be a different person, but it might be the same type of person you dated before. God is going to keep testing you to see if you can pinpoint those red flags within someone and choose yourself instead of choosing to be in love with the idea of being in love. And I said self-love is, no one really understands that self-love isn't just keep your skin right, keep your hygiene right. It's literally about keeping your mental health right as well. You can't sit here and pour into an empty cup. And then also, you cannot sit here and ask for people to fulfill the things within your life that you can't even fulfill for yourself. And that's why I tell people, if you're going to attract a soulmate or attract friendships, you have to be that friend that you want to attract. You have to be that partner that you want to attract. Negativity is going to attract negativity, but also there's positivity that also attracts negativity, because there are people that are so angry within their life that if they see you uplifted and, living by your word, it irks them. And then automatically I'm like, I get defensive. I am that defensive person, because I'm like, hold up, don't come over here ruining my grace. I'm like, don't come over here ruining my grace. I don't need that. But I've learned that people who argue want you to argue back. When I stopped arguing with people who were argumentative, I realized that they're just arguing with themselves. I'm like, why do I have to argue with you? That continues a conversation and negativity that I don't even need. So I stopped arguing with people. I was like, look, we're going to have difference in opinions. We do not mesh well. I bless you, but you're not going to be a part of my life. And we need to understand that just because people have been a part of your life for so many years does not mean that you can't grow apart from them.
Baby, this is good to me. True.
Okay.
Tap the screen 200K. If this is good to you, can you power tap the screen 200K? Today we're talking about dealing with toxic within yourself and with others. And I'm seeing some real good comments down there. But that was real good, Mari. That was real good. Anybody else? Y'all can join the panel. That was good.
Okay, I'll give a story of my ex-boyfriend. Y'all could tell me if he was toxic. So I was dating this guy. I'm gonna say, I love him so much. I did. That's what is a toxic. Do not love a man before you love yourself. He was missing for a whole week. I literally was looking out in the street, calling everybody, looking for him. Worried, I thought something happened to him. He came back out of nowhere talking about, oh, I just went to my friend's house. I said, why didn't you call me? That don't make no sense to me. Why did you not call me and tell me where you was? I'm worrying about you. And I felt like he loved both of his parents. So he used the sympathy. Whenever he does something wrong to me, I accept it because he lost both of his parents. Let me help. I'm going to be his ride or die girl. I'm going to do whatever he wants from me. And I accept everything. He used to try me so bad. That man had me crying. But then I finally got over it because I'm so sick and tired. I'm looking for you. I accept you live. It was just so much going on. I was like, why I'm doing that to myself? It's like I feel like I didn't really love myself for me to accept all that bull I was accepting for him. I literally used to work and give him my whole paycheck. I used to do so much for that man. But like once I hit my 30s, I don't do that dumb shit anymore. I do not love a nigga than I love my damn self.
That's
how I am now. Because I used to love him more than I love myself, and I don't do that no more.
That's right.
Always
but
love
you know what that
you love a nigga.
That shows the toxic in you too. You hear me? And that goes back to one of the comments that Jay Lovely said earlier. It's got to be something in you to where you give your all of you to somebody. You understand? You got to save some of yourself to clear yourself from the toxicity that comes with the other individual. So giving somebody all your money or something doesn't mean that person gonna love you more. It doesn't. And you grew from it and you learned from it. So yes, I will tell you that that person was toxic and you saw the red flags, because a person that disappeared from you for a week and pop back up and you're in a relationship with them, they don't want you, period. You have to love yourself first, because if not, people will destroy you and see you in pieces and don't bring no peace to your life. So there's nothing wrong with getting out early. For real. I say get out early. Don't let nobody string you along and giving somebody your whole check. Honey.
And I
I
want to
actually
say
want
this,
to.
Miss Nature. I think the way that when you meet people, the way that you are carrying on with yourself, it lays out the foundation. So if you meet somebody and you are self-love, self-care, self-preservation, you taking care of yourself, then they're gonna fall in line with that. But if you meet somebody and you're not taking care of you or you're not loving on you, or they pretty much gonna fall in line with that too. You know what I'm saying? So they already see that it's a disconnector from with you and yourself. You're not in tune with yourself. But when a person come in your life, for me, I'm gonna say a man, if he already see I'm moving a certain way, I'm setting the tone because I'm gonna keep moving that way. If he could step or he could try to double dutch in or whatever, but he gonna already see me loving myself, taking care of myself with this mental health, physical health, go to the doctor, I'm gonna keep myself in shape, I'm gonna eat a certain way, I'm gonna do all of that. And so
Right.
but so he know that coming into the situation. But when we broken and we not there, and somebody try to come into our life, they already know that we broken. So they know that your standards is not where they need to be at that particular time.
I think on top of that is gender roles. That is been such a toxic conversation of this 50-50 of all of this. And I've had to tell people, I'm like, okay, take numbers out of it. I said a relationship, a wholesome, like just all around loving relationship is about giving your all. It is not about, well, I do this amount, you do this amount. Because
You're
I
right.
know there's so many people that are like, okay, well, like Alpha Queen said, she's like, a man is a provider. What we need to understand is as well is that if we want someone to provide for us, if this man falls down and he has to try to build himself back up, we have to be the providers. We have to understand that it's not about whose role it is. It is about as a home, as someone you want to spend your life with, you both need to make sure that you both can call on each other. It's not always about this because we forget that our men have mental health issues that already society is telling them if you don't make this much and you don't do this and this, you're not a man. And that's not the case because already our black man as a whole is always going to be scrutinized. So they have to worry about outside scrutiny and then to come home and worry about scrutiny. It's like I can't catch a break. And then we push on them, okay, you're supposed to provide, provide, provide. And it's like, okay, well, how are you providing for me as the man that you want to provide for you? We have to understand that it is 100%. There's no 50-50. It is if you are going without, I'm going to make sure we both have. If my man breaks a leg and he has to take off from work, automatically I'm not someone that can just sit home and not make money. I'm gonna be making some money.
Some kind of way.
But
So I have a question. Alpha
exactly.
said, I'm not giving a man my whole check. I would if it not, and I ain't gonna say giving my whole check. So let me rephrase it to make it sound better. But if me and Curtis, if it came down to push came to shove and Curtis couldn't provide before I lose my home, I'm giving my all. Like I will go down to the cent to make sure we don't lose our home, our cars. Because to me that's stability in a relationship. I don't think that a fair relationship is looking at how much you give. I think unconditional love is not keeping tallies. Yes, it is my husband, but before he became my husband, I gave my all. So hear me out. Hear me out. A lot of people say, yeah, that's your husband. But what are you building on if you don't do these things in a relationship? I'm not saying as soon as you get in a relationship with somebody that you give your all. But if I've been with somebody a year, even 6 months to a year, the way love look like out here now, okay? I've been 30 years. But my all is what I want to show. So I get into these debates over here on TikTok or get into it where people say, well, I won't do it. But what are you building on if you don't give your all in a relationship? You keep it, how much of it do you keep? You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to give my all if it takes my all to make us continue to be whole. Now, that's my 2.2, but this is a good conversation. Tap the screen.
You know what,
Hey,
Miss
sister.
Netra, oh, I'm sorry. You know
And
what,
then
Miss Netra,
well, Kevin
on
was
that.
going, and then we'll hear from
Oh,
Kevin.
I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Kevin.
Shell. Shell and then Kevin. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's me, Shell, and then Kevin, or Shell, Kevin, me. I just didn't want to overtalk
I
someone.
just want to pose the question, and then I can move on, because women, they use that word, they want a provider, but most of them don't even in depth go in what they're wanting the male to provide. Most of them is only looking at it from the aspect of money, paying all the bills, paying whatever it is that needs to be paid. That's the only form of providing that they want. Security, they don't want. Protection, they don't want, because most feel as though they can do that themselves, just as they can paying the bills. But like she just mentioned, she's not giving her man all her money, but her man to pay all of the bills with his money. So someone, while y'all talking about it, discussing it, please mention a provider of.
So Kevin, I believe it or not, I actually agree with that. The word provider is such a it's such a huge umbrella, right? And there's so many things that can fall up under that same umbrella, that I think that it's when you've been in situations where life has lifed through marriage or through being single, right? You've been through real life situations where life is life, and you realize that sometimes you do have to step up to the plate. I think that those of us women that go into a situation and you luck up with the man that's willing to take care of all of your financial needs and everything else. He's my sole provider. And you luck up in that situation. The minute that there's an accident that happens at that job and he comes home and you have to change and alter your entire lifestyle, right? Because he's no longer physically capable of doing that. Then what happens to the love that you share with that person? Does it just go away? Is it just disappeared? Oh, now I got to find me a new provider because my old provider could no longer provide? Because I don't think that that has anything to do with being in a loving marriage. That turns into an arrangement, an agreement. So that's one point that I wanted to make. And also, there's something about being a woman that's able to know that you're okay, whether he's here or not. And having a provider that you allow to provide all of your needs also makes you a dependent. So I think that we have to be very careful in the language that we use when we brag and boast about, my man provides all of my needs. Because in essence, what you're saying is that I am his dependent.
Yeah,
I truly
that's
agree
good
with
right
that.
there. Thank you,
Yeah,
niece.
I agree with
I
that,
agree, Michelle.
Miss Michelle. Because when I was just about to say what Kevin said, I was literally about to say that, is that why is it okay for a man to pay out all his hard earned money, like he slaved away for this money, and for you to just feel like, oh, I'm entitled to it? And that goes with the dating stage as well, because there's so many people that are like, oh, well, he needs to pay for this. And it's like, okay, but this person worked for his money just as you worked for yours. What makes you believe that you are more important than the importance of him as himself? Like, why can't a man believe he is, worthy and important enough to also be treated to dinner? And that's why I said we we are so misguided because we look at celebrity couples, we look at all these different things, but every relationship is going to be different. When you sit here and you go out into the world with the mindset of I'm just trying to receive and give on the basis of, depending on what he gives me, that is not, that's not a relationship. Yeah, that's not a relationship.
This is good, but let me do a panel check. Because somebody else could
Go
be
ahead.
getting these gifts. One,
I think there's somebody else coming.
hold on, you good. I just want to make sure before the panel be throwing gifts. One, are you hearing me? Are you hearing the conversation?
Yeah, I'm just checking it out. Yeah, I'm listening to the
Okay, so we're going to let you chime in after Mari. I just wanted to make sure we ain't up here just, because they say trolls out here, but go ahead, recap, and then after Mari, we want to hear from you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so like I was saying, but it's every single relationship you are going to have to give. It's not about he gives more first, she gives more first. You go in showing that you both do not mind being equal, get 50-50 out your head, get the, oh, he's supposed to, because no one is supposed to do anything. This life together. The way you show up is what you are going to get in the long run, because a lot of people miss out on good, like, people in their life because they are so focused on what can you do for me? What can you do for me? And it's like, listen, can you at least go through the motions and see what we can do for each other, or how we can enjoy life together? Because the one thing I have always believed in is that everyone around me needs to be my peace. If I go to a friend's house, I need to be peaceful and feel open and honest with this friend. When I am with someone, I need to be able to have a crappy day outside and know that I'm more excited to get home because that person is my peace. That person is the person I can take a deep breath with and literally release everything before I even get into that house, because I know that is my safe space. And that is the same thing a man deserves and needs as well. He needs to be able to be like, you know what, all these people outside have been dragging me down, but the minute I get home, I am in my safe space and I am peaceful with the person that I am with.
I agree with that. But I'm going to say this one last thing, Miss Netra, and I'm going to drop because I'm just clocked back in. But if I'm in a situation with somebody and we have to have the conversation of 50-50, 40-60, 30-70, 100-100, if we have to even have that conversation at our grown ass age, I'm good. It's a turnoff, right? Those things all go without saying when you're a real adult and everybody knows how to pull their weight and you know how to live and do this thing called life. You don't have to sit at a table and have a conversation of, okay, well, I put in 50% last month. That conversation in itself is not about being an adult. That's not called adulting. So
I agree.
But I'm going to drop y'all.
Somebody said, I know that ain't no cowboy shirt, mama. PJ, don't play with me. I thought it was somebody else. Don't play with me, son. You know I like cowboys. I know they look like girls sometime on the field, but they are men. Don't play with them. Go ahead. We got a new coach. Maybe it'll work for us next year. I don't know. But back to what we were saying. So, hear me out. Because, oh, girl, a lot of people be asking me things about my relationship. My relationship has not been peachy and cream all forever in my life. But I do have a question. When we get on this internet and you hear these people talking about relationships, a lot of the conversations, the leading conversations is about how the cowgirls and cowguys, y'all gonna be mad at me, is 50-50 stuff. Thank y'all. Is how y'all gonna like sitting down leading conversations. Is that just what y'all do? But I want to hear from Juan. But damn, y'all out there making it hard for the next one. But go ahead, Juan. Let us hear from you.
I want to say first of all, it's my first time finding you. I just followed you. This panel of ladies are absolutely fantastic. I'm like, where did we find y'all at? Because I can't find nobody that is smart enough to talk like y'all. Like, damn, like this is crazy. Um, I think you're in relationships. You have to have these
Where you
conversations.
at? It sound like we got a big echo, and I feel like you finna take us somewhere.
I'm
Are you
sorry.
driving?
Yeah, I drive a truck. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I can hear you. We just wanted to know. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think we have to still understand gender roles in relationships. I think you do have to be an adult. I like what the lady said, the last lady that was on. But I do think that you do have to talk about if you have to have that conversation about 50-50, 40-60, what have you. That means that the pay scale for both parties are different, right? Like they're not making the same kind of money, because most people who are making the same kind of money, they don't have that kind of conversation, I believe. So when you find let me see, I'm trying to land this. When you find someone who isn't in the same range as you, I think it's necessary to find ways to make things work. I mean, if I had a woman, I'm single right now, but if I had a woman, if I wanted to be with somebody, and she's just a person I'm just being with for, say like a year or so, what kind of goals are we trying to accomplish? Because if you're just working just to pay bills, that means nobody's saving money. That means we're fighting and struggling with that problem instead of fighting and struggling with our love problem. And I just wanted to say that. But I like you ladies, and
Thank you. I like that.
it's a nice
You know,
time.
you just brought something good to my relationship. It takes a while. Hear me out. Unless you just got it like that and y'all started at the top. Me and Curtis started at the bottom. Now we here. And I thank God for where we are. It took years to get to where we are, to work for ourselves and still have an income and be able to take trips and do stuff. My thing is this: a good, prosperous relationship is learning how to save. You hear me, Mari? Um, Not just working paycheck to paycheck, having an empire, building, thinking beyond the immaturity level. I remember where it used to be every dime we got, like especially income tax time. Y'all remember being young and getting income tax checks? The first thing you wanted to do was change your living room furniture. New curtains, rugs, dishes, all kind of shit. Like your whole house is like you got a whole new apartment. I had to grow past those stages, and just because you were able to get an income tax check did not mean to go out and get a freaking new car. I thank God for growth. That now my car that's paid for, been paid for years, and it's still sitting in the yard and crank up. But I can remember feeling rich. So God, it just take growth. So I thank God for the topic today. Not too much on these people that think they get rich, because listen, it's a generation behind us that somebody ain't talked to let them know that that income tax check gonna run out. Mama used to always say, Shanitra, that check gonna run out. Cause baby, we be at the store, look, the real Luciana. We be at the store with it, all in the furniture store and shit. And mama used to say that money gonna run out. And guess what? In 2-3 months, money was gone. Thank God for growth. We're putting it in the bank now and adding to it and letting it grow on. All that is a prosperous relationship. Because one of the leading causes for divorces and breakups is brokenness, struggling, not being able to pay your bills, somebody blaming the other one for finances. We had to learn how to grow past our biggest arguments in life was being broke. But anyway, that's another story on another day. I'm only 31 years in with some stories to tell. Next caller,
That
lady.
that's beautiful
Listen,
though, Miss Netra. That is so
Miss
beautiful.
Nitri, if I can, I want to add something in there because I know you and your husband been together a long time, and my uncle been married 31 years too. And I think he got this from my grandparents. So my aunt or his wife, she was working and whatever. But my uncle handled all the money, and everybody would be telling her, "Girl, that's crazy," this is that and the other, and they check go into one account, but he would be like, "Yeah, you can spend 200 on a purse, or now we ain't got it right now." But she had to tell them like. If I want a new house, he gonna make it happen. If I want a new car, he gonna make it happen. He out working two, three jobs. I'm working my one job. So my auntie at 49 ended up having a heart attack, and they didn't think she was gonna make it. And so my uncle didn't want her to go back to work after that. And so he retired her because he don't want her stressed out behind the job. They still got their house because he was a good steward over finances. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad mindset or if the husband take her or the man, if he good with finances, you know what I'm saying, then there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? She like, I'm not wanting for nothing, but I do check with him if I
Thank
want
you,
to
Miss
make a big
Jane.
purchase. It's not like I can't do it, but I check with him because he's the one that do our finances. He's the one that makes sure our kids got what they need and this, that, and the other. But back a step further, when I grew up with my grandparents, I never heard 50-50 in the household. I never heard none of that when I was growing up with my grandparents. The things my grandmother taught
Yeah, I
me
see
was
you're
pay
not
your
getting $20 today. Sorry, go ahead.
the things my grandmother taught me when I was coming up was pay your bills on time.
Hey, Gail.
You get your check, pay all of your bills on time. Save this amount of money. Save this amount of money. This is that. And my grandfather was there. I never heard talk of 50-50 back then. It was never, my grandfather brought his money home. My
Thank you,
grandmother
Gail.
paid all the bills. She did all the finances. She fixed my grandfather lunch every day or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He never complained. He would just be like, long as the lights on when I come home and the kids taken care of, and I got my little money to maybe play the numbers or you know what I'm saying, whatever I want to do, I'm good. But I never heard of 50-50 until maybe this last decade. I started hearing people talk about 50-50.
There's another thing that's actually going around, and
Hey, Winter.
I have been.
Then we gonna hear from, excuse me, Lady J, and then favorite nephew, and then we'll go back around. Go ahead, Miss Mari.
Okay, so one thing that I have been getting a lot is people asking me, when do you want to have children? And I'm now, wait a minute. I said, I'm trying to build a foundation first. I said, because
Thank you, Jay.
I said, right now, it is not safe for my children. So I need to make sure that as I'm laying a foundation, I pick somewhere in the world in which I feel raising my children will be safe for them. I said, I'm not just going to be throwing out kids like that. And then they just get into a system that is making them just work for someone else to benefit from it. I'm like, I'm making sure I know financial literacy to teach them because I'm not just going to rely on schools. I said, I am building myself not only as a individual person, not only as someone's wife, but also as a mother for those children that I plan to have. I said, but the problem with a lot of you is that you're so focused on legacy. You're like, well, I need to leave a legacy behind, well, my lineage behind. I'm like, okay, but you're giving birth to poor lineages. You're not. I said our counterparts are doing differently. They're passing something down to their children. They're passing land, their stocks, bonds, all of that. The only thing we are passing is, don't do this. I did this and it didn't work for me. So when I told people, look, just stop being so focused on bringing children into a world that is already not protecting them as it is. I said, we need to get ourselves right. We need to make sure that the economy, the people around us is right. We need to make sure that our family is not toxic. We need to make sure that everyone surrounding these children give them a safe space. And I said, so I'm not worried about children right now. I said, I'm worried about making sure I am right. Because when I am right, those kids are going to come into money. And yes, I don't care about the whole nepotism thing. I'm like, because everyone else has done it and they have benefited.
Thank you, Angie.
They have created generational wealth for their children. So why can't my children be Nepo babies as well? Because I'm going to teach them how to turn that into more money in a way that fits their time period.
Right.
So That's just
This
another
is
thing.
good to me. If y'all don't mind tapping the screen before Kevin gets big finger and turn off the comments, he is starting to do that. So tap the screen, share out the live. If this is good conversation, we should be at 200K. We ask that you join a panel, rotate the panel as necessary. If you are not engaging in a conversation up here, we will drop you. I just had to tell PJ I'll bring you back in a minute, but that's my son, so not too much on him. We're going to hear from Lady J, favorite nephew, and then we'll go back around. Hey, Miss Winter, we'll hear from you as well.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
y'all for
okay. I like the
engaging.
conversation. Thank you.
Hey, Miss
Yes.
Netra. Hey, panel. I did want to chime in on that because just like you, I've been married for 25 years, and we have to think of the
Thank you.
topic of toxicity kind of in a different level because when you're married for so long, every 10 years you're going to get somebody different because you're going to evolve. He may not evolve at that time. He may evolve. You may not evolve at that time. So you both may be on different patterns, but it's like they said, what you can deal with. Because when me and my husband got together, I was in my teens and he was 20,
We know.
where he looked different. You know, he was out on the party scene. Then I evolved into the party scene where when he was ready to get out of the party scene, I was still partying. So you're going to get different people at different times in your life, but it depends on if you can merge those two together.
Right. And y'all, look, we really don't turn off comments over here. They know I hate it. It was just a joke. But we don't turn off comments over here. If they do, they turn them right back on. They do a flash drive just to let y'all know y'all not tapping. But we don't do the comments off. But that's good, Lady J.
Yeah.
That was a good point, sir.
Yeah, you
That
just
was a
have to
good point.
remember that sometimes we develop more, sometimes men develop more. And if you're willing to work through it together, then you can make it to a better place. But some people stop at that first obstacle and be like, I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. And that's why we have so many divorce rates. We have to realize that our minds are not, just because we became one, our minds may not be completely in sync.
Right. This is good to me. And mods, when you rotate, please don't rotate the panel with the people that talk.
Hey, Netra, can I say something off topic real quick?
Yes,
If you
Kevin.
would, I apologize. Just to the gentleman, I am him. I can't say it, I'm driving, but it's not a, we don't pull bullet tactics. We don't force people to support. Yes, we don't do subs only, chats or anything like that. But what we do require is that people tap downstairs while they're listening. That is the main way of keeping your live from being restricted, banned, or clipped. So yes, we do require that people tap. That we asked of. And yes, if you can't do that and it starts glitching and things, we have to do what's necessary to protect Netra's live because her lives are also being streamed on YouTube. So that's the reason. If it sounded offensive to her saying the comments will go off, she's telling you the truth. We just don't do it often. So enjoy the show. And I will come back after the last person so I can speak on the same topic about the splits, the 50-50, to give a little bit of clarity on what I meant by 50-50.
Yeah. So I have a question. Is there, Lord help me. Okay, send me back if you need to school. Are there any couples out there? Because me and Curtis had an episode in our life where if he paid the mortgage, I paid all the bills. If I paid the mortgage, he paid all the bills. I buy all the groceries. I'm the grocery shopper, so I go to the store, I buy all the groceries. I don't ask for money from him to buy groceries. I used to. He used to say, what you gonna spend at the store? If I spent $350, we would half it. It's just whatever worked in our relationship to make the relationship work. But now it's like we've grown past that. If I can conquer 3 mortgages under my belt, I pay the 3 mortgages up. It's about now sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? It's like you outgrow, like I think Lady just said.
Exactly.
Now, if I can afford to double up on the mortgage, I pay it. And he might walk in the house and say, baby, I done paid the mortgage for 3 months or 2 months. To me, that's a good, prosperous relationship. Not waiting. You know you got the money. Like, this is stuff that you grow into and grow out of. If you have the money to where your mate can put more money in the pocket, because eventually it's going to turn around and you're going to need that extra money. So mama used to always say, save for rainy days. So if I can conquer 3 mortgages and he's saving for the rainy days, you never know, 6 months from down the road, you might not be able to conquer no mortgage. And he done saved that extra money. I don't think relationships think like that no more. I think that I've seen in relationships more competitiveness, like they're competing. Relationships aren't about competing. Who got the most money in their pocket? Who can do more this month? You know, you shaking your change around because you ain't did shit all month. So my thing is this, growing and maturing to know it doesn't matter who pays it. It's just, is it paid? Like, let's take a trip next month because we done paid mortgage up for 3 months. I remember being young and not thinking like that. So you have to learn that, because watching our ancestors grow up, the mother, the grandma, big mama used to cook, clean, do everything while Daddy Bud went out and made the money and hold. His money came with attachment with another woman.
Exactly.
We had to grow past all that shit. Like, cause he was the money maker. He could have the extra kids on the side of Big Mama. Now it's 2 big families. You got folks showing up at the reunion because Daddy Bud got outside kids. So now we don't have that lifestyle where a man dingaling was the map to, excuse me, I'm being truthful, where his dingaling wasn't the map to success, nor his pockets. But that's my 2.2. If I give you 3, you damn sure ain't gonna understand me. But Candace do.
I agree, Missy. That's what I was gonna say when Lady J was saying, like, the new generation, they have so much divorce. I said some people don't want to accept some of the what the other generation accept. It's only so much. You remember that they said Papa had the Rolling Stone. They be talking about that. The daddy having extra family kids to put up to provide. Some of us don't want to put up with that nonsense. To each his own. If y'all want to accept that, that's y'all. But the new generation, we grew up, we don't have to. So that's why they have this type of divorce.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying we have to identify the type of toxicity we're talking about, because some people get mad because, oh, he may be spending all his check this week and can't pay the bills. But it may be that he just don't know how to pay bills.
Talk to him, sir.
That might be what that is. So you have to identify the type of toxicity. Like for me, I know I'm not going to accept an adulterer. I'm not going to accept an alcoholic, a drug addict, a rug addict. I'm not going to accept any of that. So, but it's some young people in this age say, well, he didn't help pay me with bills this week. Okay, well, how do you know he know about financial literacy? How you know he know to pay the bills?
Mm-hmm. This is good to me. Nephew, let me hear from you, Faye.
Hey, Auntie, hey, everybody. I just wanted to say this is really a good topic. I was just actually in like a little relationship where the young lady would use her finances because she has a little wealth, and and she will always flaunt it, and like in our conversation she will always bring up how much money she had and how she had a trust fund baby and how she got this and got that. And I could never understand why she would do it until one day I asked her, I said, you want to make a payment on a cruise for me? And she like, why would I make a payment on a cruise? And I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, you going, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not working right now, so you can't catch up on this one payment for me? And she got a bad attitude with me, you know what I'm saying? She just started going off. And I was asking her, like, why you doing all that? Am I asking for too much? Am I asking for something too early? I mean, because in the beginning of this, she was the one asking me. She was the one, I need this for food. Can you send me this so I can get an Uber? Can you send me this? My daughter need this. My daughter need that. Knowing, and she knows my situation. She know that graduation was coming up. I was moving in a new house and all of this. But yet she still wanted me to sacrifice, and she wasn't willing to do the same, knowing that she had probably 10 times more money than I have saved up. And so I just feel like when some women have a level of security because they have a certain amount of money, they can use it as a tactic, to try to keep somebody reeled in. But me not being a materialistic person or a person who just loves money abundantly, I didn't fall for it. And so me and her end up splitting ways because simply because she did not want to sacrifice doing things because she said, I'm the man. I'm supposed to sacrifice. I'm supposed to pay everything. I'm supposed to do this. And what's hers is hers. And that's just the way she believed it. That's the way she lived. And she told me straight up, I'm not paying for nothing. I'm not doing nothing. You the man. You want me. I look, and she just like talked about her attributes. And I told her straight up. I said, you are a beautiful woman. You got a nice body. You got everything a man will want. But the words coming out your mouth make you ugly. And I said, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with it because you're not going to hold your money over my head because I don't have that right now. It's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And so I end up splitting ways with this girl. And this was after I started feeling something for her, bro. And it's just crazy. It just blew my mind, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Get it off your chest, nephew. Get it off. So, Yellow, did she have?
She had auntie. That girl got money, man. She got buku money. I could show y'all a screenshot if But
so I do have a question. Hear me out. Did you not go in? But how much was invested? Because some women sit back to check you out. Mm-hmm. So how much of you? Hear me out. Was invested in the relationship because, hear me out, nephew, you don't have any children that I know of.
No.
When you get into a relationship with a woman with children, you get in a bundle package. It's a bundle package. So thank you, Jessica. So whether you want to accept it or not, there's a maturity level in a mother versus just a normal woman.
Exactly.
Y'all don't beat me up. When a woman is not the same as a mother. Oh, God. Hear me out. Shit, this is going to be one-on-one. Somebody going to say, what do you mean? Because you can sit all day and have a conversation with a mother, but your conversation with a woman won't be the same as your conversation with a mother. Right. So when you get into these relationships that are women plus mothers, you got double for your trouble because her expectancy is more. She already got an extra package and an extra passenger with her. So then here you come and you might not have nothing that come with you, but when you come into that relationship, I tell my sons this all the time. When you get a woman that is a mother, you get a different type of woman. It's a bundle package.
Exactly.
And it ain't no, I'm just with you and you ain't with me and the kids. The kids come with me. So there's something that you might not have had for this mother that you have for a woman. Now, damn it, that's my 2.2. If I give you 3, you're not going to understand.
You preaching now. You preaching.
Now, auntie, I left no stone unturned when communicating with her. I left no stone unturned. In the beginning, I told her, I said, because the first thing she said to me is, I can take care of myself. I don't need you to do anything for me. That's the very first thing she said to me. And I said, good, because, and this is exactly what I said. I said, good, because I don't got it like that. I see what you wear and I see what you like to buy. I said, I ain't got it like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have it like that. So don't expect me to go out and buy you $4,000 bags, pay, do this and do that. I told her straight up. And she said, okay, that's fine. I got a wealth. I got this. I got that. I can do this. I can do that. I don't need you to do nothing.
Well, she's just a little selfish with it.
Very selfish. Selfish. And when it came to the child, she told me my baby father got hurt. She don't stay with me, so I don't have to worry about paying no money out for her or do this and do that. And so her child wasn't even a worry. Her child, that wasn't her child wasn't even in a picture. She was in a picture, but she wasn't in a picture. So
selfish is different than a mother. Do you hear me, Keish? Yeah. We try to get it together over here, Keish.
But auntie, she's selfish, but she wasn't selfish because she had a child. Because she told me her baby father is a homicide detective, so she's well taken care of, and she lives in a different state. So, she was selfish because she wanted me to use what I had. and she didn't want to use what she had, knowing that she had it. You know what I'm saying? So she told me straight up. She said, "My money is my money, and your money is my money."
She
And
was
that,
used to her lifestyle. So then let me tell you something. Hear me out, because here I go with that woman. We ain't talking about the mother. We talking about the woman. The woman was used to her lifestyle. Hear me out. Disappear as far as in a marriage. The next nigga finna have it hard because of my lifestyle. I'm used to having nice things. I don't give a damn. He gonna have to participate in some of the nice things. Hear me out. Hear me out. When a woman is used to certain things in life, you have to respect what she's used to. Now, you don't have to do what she's used to, but you walk into a level of space that she just refused to come back down from. And because one thing about it, you don't know what it took for her to get to that level of maturity where she don't need your ass. Hear me out, man. Hear me out. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. But when a woman, because a man is the head and a man is the stronghold, he's the strength in a relationship. But when a woman has to live in her strength without a man, it ain't nothing a man can do that she knowed and figured out that she can do for her fucking self. Excuse me, they made vibrators for them. Oh, God!
Miss Netra, I would love to touch on that because
girl, it's gonna get
what's
deep.
let me
Make
say
sure
this,
your
and I'm
kids
gonna
ain't
my
got
mom.
your
Let me
it's
say
phone.
bad
this. I'm
though
gonna say my
because
mom.
for your
Let me
nephew
say this real
though.
quick.
Oh, go
And
ahead.
okay, so auntie, so basically,
Ooh, poetic
like
orange.
like I said, I kept it 100 with her. I even talked to my uncle Javon on the back end about this. I kept it 100 with her from the get go, man. She was just blatantly selfish because that's just the way. That's just the way she is. It's not because she can take care of her.
Poetic.
She is just selfish. I mean, you right, but you is right about that's what she used to because she told me she was spoiled, she was this, she was that, and she was accepting gifts from men and doing all this other stuff. But when it came to me and I couldn't do that, she said that was okay in the beginning. But I guess when we started going along further and further, and she saw that I really could not do that, and she couldn't get what she really wanted out of me, we started to split. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like she wanted all of me,
Come on, Bliss.
she didn't
Nephew.
want to give me none of her. I
Can
could
I
care
ask
less
you a
about.
question? I do have a question for
Mhm.
you. How old was she? Hear me out. How old
She's
was she?
31.
And
31.
oh, she had formed over. Because let me tell you something, y'all. Hear me out. Hear me out. And then I got to hear from the ones that haven't talked. One came back. I want to hear from him, Miss J's. After one, Miss J's, and then Miss Sam came back. At 31, that level of maturity just kicked in. Because nephew, listen, hear me out. A lot of people don't want to believe when you hit 30, I don't know what it is about dirty 30, but something about that second gear kick in. You start wanting shit.
Yep.
At 30, you want to own your own. Like you don't have time for somebody to catch up and you're younger. Hear me out. 31, you're younger. You haven't made it. And I know you're very mature. I love you. You're doing good. But it's something about a relationship status that at 31, somebody before you gonna kick in, and so you're catching up. And not to say you're not there, but to her, you playing catch up, especially if she a mother, because it's a certain already level of something that she been through that you have not encountered yet. And especially childbirth, you ain't encountered it yet. So she looking at you like this nigga ain't even got no kids. He